Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to my channel, I Hate Rock Music, and I want to thank everybody who's taken the time and has enjoyed my videos, and I especially appreciate those who subscribed. The number of subscribers is a small fraction compared to the people that watch the videos, so I assume a lot of people aren't enjoying them as much as I would like. I don't have a lot of bells and whistles on this channel, but I do enjoy it, and I appreciate those who enjoy finding out a little bit more about some of these obscure bands. So I do get to champion a lot of these bands and provide a little information that some of you may or may not know, and turn people on to some great music. And so I tend to cover bands that I think are pretty good. And at some point, I might start doing videos about bands I'm not that impressed with, but we'll see how that goes. But in today's video, I want to talk about the band BANCHEE from New Jersey. Got together in 1968. The lineup was Peter Alonghi on guitar and vocals, Jose de Jesus on guitar, Michael Marino on bass, and Stefan Schlax on drums. And then they added Fernando Roman on percussion and vocals for the second album. And the second album, Thinking, has become quite collectible and is definitely far superior to the first album. And so let's talk about these two albums they put out in 1969. They put out Banshee on Atlantic, and I found it in cutouts in about 1970, 71, and it's very pleasant. Good record, good solid record. Not mind blowing, but there's a couple tunes on there, Tom's Island, and I Just Don't Know, that are really excellent, very hard hitting, great complex arrangements, great guitar work, great dual guitar work, good vocals. And one of the things that marks the first album particularly is a lot of multiple vocal harmonies. And so a lot of the songs on the first album have really nice jangly guitars, somewhat of a Byrds feel in some respects, and then these gorgeous harmonies. But Banshee is like a lot of bands in 1969 where they kind of still had one foot in the 60s psychedelia and then one foot moving forward towards 70s hard rock and progressive elements. And you kind of find all those on the first Banshee album. There's a little bit of a folk influence. There's a little bit of a rural rock influence. There's a lot of multiple part harmonies, kind of reminiscent of the Byrds and a number of bands around that time that still had one foot in the 60s. And so the multiple vocal harmonies is very prominent with the folk influence. But there's a lot of semi-progressive and hard rock elements that creep into a lot of their songs with their interesting arrangements. And particularly on the first album, I Just Don't Know, and Tom's Island, towards the end of the record, really deliver the goods, really killer songs, great riffs, a lot more powerful than what's on the rest of the record, and great guitar work, as I mentioned, dual guitar work, and a solid record. Um, and I know, being a record collector, I know a lot of record collectors, they'll get an album by a band like Banshee, and those one or two great tracks make it worth having. Both the fact that the tracks that are great are so good that it's worth having, and then of course a lot of us are completists as well. So that first Banshee album on Atlantic is worth having, and Michael Jeffrey, who handled Jimi Hendrix, also worked with this band. So they got kind of a high profile, got signed to Atlantic, and got dropped fairly quickly. The album, of course, went nowhere. But they stuck around for a few years. In 1971, they resurfaced, got signed by Polydor, and the album Thinkin' came out. And it rectified all the issues that were there for the first album. All the multiple part harmonies are still there, and the interesting, more complex arrangements are there. But they really upped the ante on the guitar work, and the guitar work on Thinkin' is outstanding, and the entire record is pretty hard rocking. They're not mucking about, kind of like they were on the first album, and so Thinking really checks all the boxes and is firing on all pistons, and is really a truly great obscure hard rock album. And as I mentioned, they added a Latin percussionist, Fernando Roman, on the second album, and so there's a lot of interesting percussion as well. But they're all really solid musicians. The rhythm section's really great, and don't really have any issues at all with the second album. And like I say, it's just one hard rocking number after another, and just stellar guitar work. And so it's definitely worth having. So there's not that much information on Banshee, so I don't really know what happened to any of these people after the Thinking album. I don't really know if they lasted longer than that second album. They either broke up or got dropped by Polydor pretty quickly after that second album came out. But as I mentioned, the first Banshee's around, people are picking it up. It's a solid record to have, but the second album, Thinking, has become a pretty high priced collector's item, and it should be, because it really is a great example of an obscure band that really succeeds and delivers musically. So as usual, I'll post the links of their two albums below. Check them out if you haven't heard them. If you have some qualms and disappointments with the second album, be sure to check out or with the first album, be sure to take some time to check out the second album, because it really has everything you'd want in a great obscure underground hard rock band. So there you have it, Banshee. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.